My name is Jenny Berkel. I'm from Southern Ontario, but I live in Montreal, and I write songs and I sing them. I don't know how new of an obsession this is, but I cannot seem to stop reading work by Anne Michaels, who is a poet and novelist from Toronto. I think I discovered her poetry a couple of years ago, but she's written my favorite book ever, which is called The Winter Vault. I don't reread books very often, but I think I've read that one probably 3 times, and I bought it as gifts for people at least twice. So I would say maybe Anne Michaels. Well, actually last night I went to Tamara Lindemann's album release, The Weather Station, and I think that she's a real gem in Canada. And I think I fell in love with her music maybe 3 years ago, and I've been listening to her ever since, and I think she's one of Canada's finest. About a year and a half ago, well actually for the last few years I've been playing primarily electric when I perform, and then about a year and a half ago I started to get a little bit obsessed with old acoustic guitars, and so I went on a hunt with Spencer Burton, who used to be called the Grey Kingdom, and we went to I can't remember the name of the place, the folk store in Guelph, and came across this beautiful 1943 Martin. And so I fell in love with it, and I sold all of my other guitars so that I could buy that guitar. And I think it's really had a hand in how I've been writing songs since then. Well, actually I wish that, I feel like I could do a good collaboration with Eminem, Jen and M. Well, that's a good question. I used to write a lot of poetry, and I kind of picked up the guitar. I got a guitar when I was about 16, but didn't really play it. Then I started to meet more musicians. I was living in Winnipeg, and went on a big trip through Europe and was doing a lot of busking, kind of as a necessity because I needed to make enough money to have places to stay and food to eat. So we did a lot of busking, but busking eventually kind of blew my vocal cords out, and I actually had some vocal problems for quite a while after that. So I decided to start using microphones and playing primarily indoors, and it's been a journey ever since. Well, I've been lucky enough to play with a lot of really talented people. I usually play solo, but with my new record coming out, I'm going to start playing with a band. So I think I'd put Ian Romano on drums. And there's this amazing cellist named Eric Wright, who's from, I think, Vermont originally, but he lives in Toronto. He plays in a folk quartet called The Fretless, and I think I'd pop him in there, maybe with Steve Martin on drums, backing you up, double drum. I'm not really much of a t-shirt person, really, to be honest, but right before I did this tour with Daniel Romano last fall. They went through their garage to find merch to take on the tour, and came across a huge bin of old Attack in Black t-shirts. So I dug through it and found, I think, a triple extra large shirt, and I think it had a brown horse print on the front. And I took it and I cut the sleeves off for some reason. I don't remember why I did that. And then I wore it to bed every night on tour. So I think that's my only experience with a band t-shirt, actually. I don't think that scoring films would necessarily be something I'd be very good at, to be honest, but you know what, I think I'd have to create a film that would star my favorite actors, which is Bette Midler, maybe with Michael Caine. I think it would be a love story. Well, I did a tour with Daniel Romano in Europe in the fall, and we played at a very legendary venue in Amsterdam called Paradiso. It was, of course, my first time there, and it was definitely the most beautiful venue I've ever been in, and kind of a terrifying stage to be on, but it was amazing. Well, since my early 20s, even before that, I've been moving around probably more than one should. So I think even just in the last couple of years, I've had about 10 different postal codes. I have a hard time sticking with a place. So I think moving and being in different homes and spaces and cities and provinces and countries has really affected how I see the world and the kind of sound as well, but definitely what I write about. That's kind of a hard question. It's kind of like asking a mother to pick out her favorite child, I think, but I kind of like all my songs equally, I think. But if I was to pick a thesis or a cornerstone for my next record, I would probably pick a song called Green Coat that I wrote a couple of years ago now, and I think it kind of was the catalyst for writing the rest of the album. So I think I would go with Green Coat. I thought about this question for a long time, and I find it to be quite a difficult one to answer, but I think that the future of music is going to be very loud.